Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Julene with Jovi Star Astrology. I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel, like, share. It helps as I build the channel, which I am very much trying to do this year. I'm going to talk today about an opposition that is occurring today. I'm recording this today, July the 10th. Mercury opposite Pluto in the signs of Cancer and Capricorn. This is the first planet opposition to the Pluto since it retrograded back from zero Aquarius in mid-June. So anytime we see a contact with Pluto, we know that there's something fairly intense going on in the cosmos or in the world, in our lives lately. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share the chart and talk a little bit about what Mercury represents in the sign of Cancer and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. I'll do that first before I share the chart. So Mercury is the mind and its messages. It's also movement. And in the sign of Cancer can represent our home, our homeland, family, our memories, traditions, and our overall foundation. Of course, Cancer is a water sign, right? A cardinal water sign. It's very much about our emotions. And we have this opposing Pluto and Capricorn, which we know Pluto represents change, very, very big change, transformation, death, rebirth as well. In the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, this is going to be about authority figures, tradition, structure, organizations, responsibilities, commitments. So definitely Pluto in the sign of Capricorn is about power and control from a higher authority of some sort or coming from some kind of a commitment. And we've had Pluto and Capricorn since 2008, but Pluto is getting to the very end degree, and 29 degrees is the very end of Capricorn, and that's where Pluto is. Of course, it will retrograde back and it will go over 29 degrees again. It first hit 29 degrees right around Valentine's Day of this year. So Pluto is covering ground that it's already been in, and will retrograde back into area that has covered since last year about this time in the summer. So, think back what might be happening or have happened to you from, last year, June, July through February, middle of February, Valentine's Day, approximately exact, February 14th, 2023. And now that Pluto is retrograding back, those themes are coming back up. And Mercury here is some kind of message or movement regarding what's going on in the sign of Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. 29 degrees of Capricorn talks about, the Sabian symbol talks about things going on behind the scenes, right? Conversations, meetings, things like that. And that can be sometimes literal, especially when we're talking about Capricorns, the government and organizations and things that have a lot of power and control, but it can also be in our lives, something going on that we are committed to, right? Or we have responsibility for. Whatever Capricorn represents in your chart. So, I'm sure you've looked at it, right? If you're an astrology enthusiast and you've been following the planets, you've probably looked and are very familiar with where Pluto is transiting in the sign of Capricorn in your chart. So pay attention. But right now we've got this opposition with Mercury. So information could be coming in. And listen, this could just be a hunch, right? Because Capricorn or Cancer is so intuitive that it could be a hunch. This could also be something that you are feeling is controlling you, or an actual situation or person that is controlling you in some way. And that can be a control of the mind through manipulation, or through, trying to, sort of take advantage of emotional situations, things like that. But the opposition can be within our own mind, and Pluto does represent things like obsession, right? And so because Pluto is covering ground that it's already been over, this could be information coming in, or just a need or a pull to zero in on uncovering what might be going on behind the scenes. I am going to go ahead and share that chart now. So I can show you. Okay, throwing on my glasses. So you see up here Pluto in Cap, and Mercury down here in the sign Cancer. Now, we do have a trine to Neptune. So this indicates, really pay attention to your intuition. Yes, it could be a hunch if there is information coming through, or some kind of power struggle, conversation, control situation. The facts could be fuzzy right now, right? Intuitively, you could feel it, but the facts could be fuzzy. So best to kind of sit on this. The 29 degrees of Cancer talks about tradition and holding steady to your own personal values, especially those values that are very strong in your foundation and have actually proven to be quality, and have worked, and are represent the foundation in many ways of who you are and what you believe, what you think. But to not hold on to those traditions and those memories and that history, Cancer, so tightly that you miss an opportunity if change is in order, right? So it's really paying attention to your own intuition and your own personal foundation. So this could be 29 degrees. We know in astrology is an anaretic degree, so it's very, very powerful. And we know that Pluto is squaring the nodes, which are sitting at 0 degrees of Scorpio and Taurus, and Pluto rules Scorpio. And the South Node is bringing up the past. And I know that I sound like a parrot because I've talked about this before. And the North Node is moving us towards our collective destiny. So this definitely feels to me like we are obviously covering ground from the past. And as we wrap up this nodal transit in Scorpio and Taurus, Pluto is there saying we have things to go back and look at. This is not over. Something has to move, something has to change, something has to either die off or be reborn in some way. And it indicates that this is something that that we need information with the situation, that we need to actually understand, that needs to be uncovered so that we can move forward and sort of let go of all of, whatever was controlling our mind or our life, or a situation that needs to be resolved with another person. But the Pluto square the nodes is saying it's time now to move this forward. And of course, Capricorn, this may not happen right away. I mean, this, transit of Pluto through the sign of Capricorn is very, very slow, but we resolve issues, and then the retrogrades, and things are gone back and forth, because really what Pluto wants to do is sort of like take care of it and process it and change it for good, right? Once Pluto does a transit in any sign, whatever changes occur, you can bet that they're permanent changes. So thank goodness the universe doesn't put us through that kind of cataclysmic change all at one time. We have some time to adapt to it somewhat. And of course, the evolutionary process requires us to go through lessons and, experience things in our lives. And that is a slow process. And with Pluto being a transpersonal planet, one that is definitely connected to our society's evolution, change can be slow when you're talking about things that are that solidified in our and ingrained, right, in our history and in our backgrounds and our society. But on a personal level, this could be something that is really requiring you to go inside yourself and hold your ground. And even though you may not have all of the information, be true to yourself. Now, what's interesting about this is that the sun, I'm going to advance this to show you, the sun in Cancer is going to hit 29 degrees right about July 22nd. And then the sun shines a light on the situation. Something lights up, something comes to, comes to our awareness, and it could be intuitive, right? Because at that time, the sun will be trining Neptune, which can, cause some fuzziness, but this is something that we can feel into. And with the sun shining a light on Neptune, things could clear up, and we could realize or hear or understand what this process is all about. So that's very interesting. And on July 22nd, that is when we have Venus stationing and going retrograde. So, again, I've said that every chart you look at is telling a story. So it's not just about one thing. And the retrograde of Venus in the sign of Leo is ruled by the sun, which will be in the opposition after Mercury completes its opposition, which will be probably like tomorrow, but quick enough to lay the foundation, plant the seed in whatever way that's happening for you. And then the sun will come along and hopefully shed some light on what's going on. So since the sun rules Leo and Venus is in Leo, we've got all of these shenanigans that have been going on with Venus squaring Uranus and Jupiter. And going back over that, this is all related to things like, I believe, like finance and relationships and our home, and our security and our emotions, and the power and control that our obsessions potentially have over all of that, as well as giving us solutions and having us focus and think about those types of things that do have control over us and how we would handle that. And square the nodes, it's like there's going to be a break of some sort out there in the world. Obviously, we can keep an eye on things that are going on in the government. I think all of us know that there are conversations going on behind the scenes in our government, in our organizations that we aren't aware of, right? And what comes through the news and what we hear, what we assume, we can't always bank on the fact that that is the truth, right? And we can double down on that by the fact that Mercury is squaring Neptune when it was opposing. Is like, don't really believe everything that you hear and see, which makes it more important for you to kind of hold your position and protect yourself, your family, and your traditions. Again, those that are important, right? That you stand on and maintain your foundation within. So very interesting stuff when the sun comes through and all of these other things happening. So we have the new moon in Cancer on the 17th. And then we have the subsequent opposition from the sun to Pluto in Cancer after Mercury. So, and all of the interesting things going on with Venus square Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus. So we've got relationship issues, family issues, emotional issues, right? All kinds of things coming up from the past, potentially, or just things that need to be moved along, changed, transformed, sometimes die off. So this is a crazy summer. There are a lot of aspects going on, especially with all of these retrogrades that we're having with all the planets. We're covering old ground. lots of action this summer, lots and lots of action. Um, Also too, and I did another video on this, which I will put out, but the sun will oppose Pluto just as right after Mars has perfected its opposition to Saturn. So we're dealing with all of these oppositions that can be emotional things that we want to try and clear up, fix, for all. Mercury today in its opposition with Pluto rules Virgo, right? And here we have Mars that just entered Virgo today. So we've got things that we're trying to work on, and there's information that we don't have, and this involves our stability. So, and our relationships and our finances. So very interesting time. And I'm sure all of you can throw a story or two out there related to any of those topics. There's something that it's going on in your own life. I'm sure we all can. So I wanted to come on and talk about these oppositions and let you know that, right around the 22nd, whatever's happening today or this week with this opposition to Mercury that might be causing some confusion, we could get some information, some light could be shed on what's going on in this process, and look for something in the past. My eyes keep going to the fact that Pluto has covered this ground since last summer and through mid-February. So I just really feel like this is past up, and especially Saturn ruling. Saturn is ruled by Capricorn. Saturn is in Pisces, and Saturn is also retrograde. So, and Saturn went into Pisces in the beginning of March. Interesting stuff, right? Obviously no accident, and obviously that's why we use astrology, right? So we can kind of get a sense and a pulse for what's going on and what's coming up, and how we can center ourselves in an appropriate way to best support us. So I'd love to hear from you all what's going on in your life. Is there some kind of intense situation or something that you're really focused on resolving, or possibly even obsessed with? Let me know. This is relational again. So situations, relationships can be our relationship with ourselves, but maybe something's going on with relationships, especially with this Venus, especially with the Venus in Leo and all the action of Taurus. So I'll be back with another video to talk about the Mars Saturn opposition that will occur here shortly, and be separating at the time that the sun is opposite Pluto. So it should be interesting. And we'll talk about the new moon in Cancer that's coming up on the 17th. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Drop your comment below. Let me know what's going on. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I would very, very much appreciate it. And if you'd like to take a look at your birth chart, my information is down below in the description box. I would love to meet you. I just continue to enjoy all of my one-on-one sessions. So thank you to everybody that is here and listening, and has given me the opportunity to meet them. I really appreciate it. So I will see you next time. I'm going to stop the share in the next video. And until then, may the stars forever be in your favor, and take really good care. And I'll talk to you soon.